Hey Milo. Yeah, it's a good exercise, but it's, not only beautiful, melodic, and really heartwarming, but it's also good for your pinky and all the fingers. It's quite challenging though to play, from this part of the fretboard all the way up while making as few mistakes as possible. I use 80 BPMs. You can't hear it in the background here, but that's because I don't want to drive people crazy. So I have a metronome going. So 80 BPMs, eighth notes. Basically, you don't want to go fast. That's pretty much my top speed when I practice anything repeating like this, because that's a speed where I know that I can keep my technique under control. I could play this at, twice the speed, and it would be clean and all, but I would not be in as much control as I am at this speed. So that's why I'm choosing this speed. And yes, I do other things as well. So, but in terms of pushing the speed and stuff like that, that's overrated. You're gonna do that anyway. You're gonna try to play things faster anyway. There's very few people out there in the guitar world who doesn't have a good technique because they didn't try to play fast enough. Hey Maxim, thank you for that. I actually scrolled around on other live videos. I was like, I'm doing this basically, I'm just practicing and answering some questions if they pop up. But it felt better once I scrolled through some different lives with people knitting, people doing Legos, all kinds of stuff. And then some girl in a car talking about her boyfriend being an asshole that had like 700 people. I was like, what's going on? Why, well, it's kind of funny, actually, this whole live thing. But I'm going to do this exercise again, but not right now. I think I'm going to do it again and then start on upstroke instead. It's just annoying to play. Hey Bobby, hey John first, thank you for all your lessons and effort you put into finding your videos. Month ago, been practicing really hard and things pay off. Oh, great to hear, Bobby. I don't know what you need or don't need, but as you see on the screen, it's 4 hours left until Practice Room Pro doubles in price. And what Practice Room Pro is basically my school community. So SKOOL, great platform, and that's where I can help people individually, but also in front of the group, so it's good. So just in case you're interested in that, definitely get in now because it's gonna be twice as much per month from midnight tonight Swedish time. I thought you were playing slow like that for showing beginners, then I thought you were practicing for yourself. Yeah. And that's the thing though that I need to remember, Milo. I feel like I say this till I'm fucking blue in the face, but people don't remember or understand it or whatever. So that's just because I know you've been around my streams a lot, and I'm not shitting on you. I'm just saying in general, if you didn't understand that, then a lot of people probably missed that. So, hey Patrick. And also, I'm not just practicing slow here. I'm also focusing on. If you can, when I play, you can see it's kind of. The notes are always very connected when I do the picking stuff. I don't do this. It's like kind of the same tempo, but a bit sluggish. I'll try to go as quickly as possible between. Bobby, well. That's what I said, right? I do this for this is like 80-90% of my practice. So whenever I do anything repeating, and especially any exercise, I don't care about pushing the speed on that because the exercises are there for me to improve my technique. And you don't improve your technique by pushing the whole time. So if I'm learning a piece of music or whatever, then I use different techniques as well, like speed bursts and dotted rhythms and all kinds of different things, right? But this whole thing of like only focusing on speed and that's the only thing you gauge technique improvement from, I think that's a big mistake because our brains will do what you repeatedly tell it to do. And then people go like, well, I want to play fast, so I need to play fast. Well, you can't do something fast if you haven't done it a shit ton of reps at a very slow tempo where everything is perfect. So that's why I do it this way. So I'm not a believer in this whole weird thing that's going around, like, oh, just practice, where everything's like 90% clean and then that's better than 100%. It's like, that's bullshit in my opinion, because what we're actually doing when you repeat something is you're teaching your brain how you want it to be. So if you sit there and repeat it in a half-assed way, like do this, why would your brain all of a sudden, just be able to do it cleanly just because you've done a ton of bad reps, right? So that's why I don't believe in that at all. And I think this is a very unsexy way to try to, sell people on guitar lessons or whatever, but it works, and I'd rather do something that's boring as I do it, but I know it's going to get the results that I want, than sit there and like push the speed and think that, yeah, I'm going to be so good in 6 months, and all I'm going to get for it is sloppier technique. So that's where I'm at with it. And I see a lot of people, and I get it. My YouTube channel could probably be way bigger if I did more clickbaity stuff. But and I've done that as well, tried it, but it's I just don't like it. It just feels like I'm bullshitting people. And I think the more people understand that it's going to take longer than you want to get to the point where you want to be, and more work than you want it to be, and it takes a lot of practice, and none of your heroes just, practice half an hour a day and then became great. There's a reason why you have the stories of like Vi 10-hour days, Yngwie 8 hours for over 5 years, Petrucci, all that stuff. It's not a coincidence. God kväll, both of up. 300 BPMs? No, I don't think I've ever been up at 300 BPMs. That's also, you don't need to be, because even if you look at like some really, really fast stuff, it probably, most of that stuff will clock out at around, 16 note triplets at 150. So I don't think that's, but also don't listen to me. But if whatever you're doing works, do that. But if you had problem and you've done all the become a shred gone in 10 days, and that hasn't worked for you, maybe try this way and see if it works. Because I haven't had one student who's tried this and haven't had their technique just get so much better. But that's because they put in the time and actually did it correctly as well. So that's the thing. So anyway, now I'm gonna practice. One thing that's kind of cool to do is to, let's see. Well, when I say 90% slow and 10% fast, it's not an exact science, but you know, whenever I'm practicing stuff like this, right, anything repeating all over the fretboard, or I would sit at this tempo just to get all the reps in, but then I will sit down and, you know, play for fun. And if I'm working on a specific piece that I have a specific tempo, then I would use different strategies like speed bursts and dotted rhythms and all kinds of stuff like that. But those will only work as, you know, they will only be as effective as the amount of reps you put in slowly, in my experience. So it's kind of like, if you think of a pyramid, right? You need to get the base down first, and then the top of the pyramid, that's like all the speed bursts, and you try to do things fast. But if you don't have the foundation, it's not going to work very well. All right, so let's see. You're welcome. So one thing you can do here as well, let's see, that's very helpful, that I'm gonna do now. If you have chromatic scale fatigue, but still want to work on 4 notes per string, is to take any of the major scale shapes or the related modes, or the same shapes, right? So if I take an A major scale here, for example, this is a Steve Morse and Petrucci trick. So you fill in the gaps. So you go, instead of going, you fill in this gap. And you might feel like, well, why can't I fill in this gap? Because it sounds crap. That doesn't sound good. That sounds better, right? And then we have the same gap here. And then this gap, 1, 2, 4, on the next 2 strings, it's gonna just be normal quasi-chromatic, and then the last 2 strings, which is 1, 3, 4, same shape again. But what happens, you kind of you keep the outer notes of each scale shape, and also, you know, one of the middle notes as well. But then you have this chromatic passing note. So you can get sort of a chromatic-y type feel, but you still retain the tonality. So that's something that Petrucci did a lot on the Images and Words album. So that's what I'm gonna go through now. And you can do, you know, a bunch of different patterns for this, but I'm just gonna go straight up and down first. All right, I'm gonna have to cut this stream short, and I have to go practice unplugged because we have a huge thunderstorm passing over now, and I live in a house, and yeah, it wouldn't be great if I get electrocuted on air. So yeah, see you tomorrow. Hopefully we get some better weather then.